A picture-perfect Plume Park in leafy Lisarow here on the Central Coast, setting the scene for a super Saturday of football. It is match week 1 of New South Wales NPL men's action, finally returning for 2024. 30 rounds of action before a championship series, of course. Plenty of twists and turns and stories and narratives to be written, and it all starts for these two sides right here on the Central Coast. The commencement of a new season, marking a new era in many ways for both of these sides. Wholesale changes both on the pitch and in the dugouts as well. We'll take you through all the news there as the broadcast continues. Before we get too far into things, let's take you through how each of the sides line up ahead of kickoff here at Plume Park. Starting, of course, for the home side, the Central Coast Mariners Academy. In goal returns number 30, Jack Wachorski. Number 3 will be Sherdeng. Number 5, Harry Menham. 7, Mate Busek. Number 8, Lucas Skluna. Number 10, Lucas Smythe. Number 11, Donatien Nyonguru. Number 13, Yanni Nassis. Number 16, Jordan Small. 22, Rocco Smith. And 27, Tay Headley. The substitutes for the hosts this afternoon: reserve goalkeeper Dylan Parai-Cullen. Number 2, Michael Paragalli. Number 18, Adil Tosca. 33, Alex Gontunis. 34, very exciting young player in Arthur De Lima. And 35, Ageg Aluk. For the away side this afternoon, Sydney United 58. In goal, a very familiar name. Number 1, Oliver Kalach. Number 3, Bailey Rule. Number 4, and captain, a mainstay of Adrian Vlastelica. Number 7, another returning player in Jordan Ivancic. Number 8, one of their statement signings in the off-season in Shunta Nakamura. Number 9, Patrick Antelmi. 10, Carlos de Oliveira. Number 11, well, no stranger to these surroundings, of course, in Matt Hatch. 14, Liam McGing. 15, Tariq Meyer. And 19, Aidan Milicevic. Another one who's, of course, no stranger to Plume Park. When the action begins, the referee this afternoon will be Ivica Kovic. On the bench for Sydney United 58, number 2, Josh Attard. 5, Anthony Tomalich. 12, Marco Arambasic. 17, Matthew Nikolovsky. And 22, Stephen DeRobillard. And of course, number 21 as well, Dayan Danikowski. Whistle blows and away we go for match week 1 for these two sides. Of course, as we said, a new era, 14 new signings made by Sydney United in the off-season. For the Mariners, well, not a single player remaining in the squads today from the last time these two sides met at Plume Park. Plenty of new names and new faces to learn. Here's one of those, Mate Busek, who spent some time in the 20s for the Mariners last season. Clipped over the top. It went from Cicluna, one of those new faces. And here's Tay Headley. Just ran out of room, shepherded over the byline there from Headley. Mariners looking to make a bright start, full of youthful exuberance, of course. It's the youngest average age across the first team that I can remember seeing in the number of years of watching this academy. The academy, of course, which has such a rich, storied history of producing top talent. One of those is Matthew Hatch, who's on the ball here. Very much a fan favourite on the Central Coast is Hatch. Here he is again. Ivancic. The two number 7s coming together there, and Busek able to put that into touch. Thrown in by Ivancic. De Oliveira appeals for handball. Referee uninterested, but Sydney United will have a corner for their troubles. My apologies, of course, that's a throw-in. Ivancic looking to work those levers, headed clear by Deng. Smythe launching one upfield. It's easily claimed by Liam McGing. Bailey Rule. Here's McGing again. Nakamura trying to create something in a wide area. As we said, one of the statement signings for Sydney United coming in from the relegated Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Absolute live wire in that front third, the 24-year-old Japanese import. 6 goals in all competitions last year for Mount Druitt. We'll be looking to increase that tally this year. But it's the Mariners coming forward again. That's an easy claim for Kalach. As we said, a very familiar name around these parts. And Zeljko Kalach, of course, returning to Sydney United in the hot seat this season. The club where he started and finished his playing career. He had a brief stint as head coach at Sydney United 58 back in 2020. And he's back again. That's Bulls FC Academy last season. Returning to his boyhood club, and perhaps his son Oliver looking to walk in similar footsteps after returning from Croatia in the off-season. Here's Nakamura. Looks to clip one into the area. Antelmi was arriving late, but it's easily dealt with by Rocco Smith on his first start for the Mariners. Switching the point of attack out now to Matthew Hatch. First touch just got away from him, allowed Skikluna to nip in there, and now release Smythe. Looks to isolate Vlastelica here. One way and the other, Lucas Smythe. Towards Tay Headley, who goes down. He's back to his feet immediately. Here's Smythe. Still Smythe. Just dragged wide of Kalach's left hand upright there. An early sighter for Lucas Smythe. One who came in from the Sydney FC Academy, Lucas Smythe. He did actually come in midway through the 2023 NPL season. Only 2 appearances for the first team. Looking for his first goal in the yellow and navy. Flicked on by Hatch. Smythe carrying it forward out of defence. And I'll just go back with Sherdeng now. All the way back to Wachorski. Speaking of new faces in the managerial hot seat, of course, on the opposite side of the Sydney United bench. On the Mariners bench, of course, Lucas Villela. Stepping up from his role as the under-20s head coach, where he won the premiership last season with the Mariners. Abassard's departing the club with about 5 weeks or so to go before the season kicked off. Plenty of intrigue remains around that. But Lucas Villela, of course, proving his worth, his weight in gold with his success in the under-20s. Recently completed his A licence over in Brazil, his native Brazil. Here's Smith. Sherdeng now. Nakamura applying effective pressure, forcing him all the way back to Wachorski. He's just created himself a little bit of mischief there, playing it straight to the feet of Ivancic. Bit of a loose pass as well from Sherdeng. Nakamura was hungry to get on the end of it. Mariners survived just about. Let's launch one forwards. The pass from Skikluna. And the flag is up very quickly. Neon Kuru was who was looking to get in behind. Just went a fraction of a second early. It's an absolute pace merchant, is Neon Kuru. Very exciting pickup from the South Australian NPL system where he was at Adelaide, Croatia. Here's Nakamura, able to beat 1 and 2 and pulls it back across her face. A timely intervention from the Mariners centre-back, resulting in another Sydney United corner. Will be Matthew Hatch across to take. As we said, Matthew Hatch, a Central Coast junior, played his junior football at Woy Woy Roosters and Kincumber as well, before moving across and spending a number of years at the Mariners Academy. Successful years as well. He still holds the record, in fact, for the fastest goal on debut in the A-League, scoring with his first ever kick in professional football after just 25 seconds on the pitch. Clips this one in. Well, safe to say that his record in the A-League was a little bit more impressive than that corner. Matthew Hatch will hope to move on quickly from that. Fairly even start in the opening 9 or so minutes here at Plume Park. Both teams just feeling each other out somewhat. Here's Nakamura, who's switched flanks with Matthew Hatch for the time being. I feel that may be a recurring theme throughout the course of the contest this evening. Vlastelica looking for one of those raking crossfield balls there and just about picks out Nakamura. As well dealt with in the end. Stayed in the field of play as well, picking out Lucas Smythe. Good feet from a big man there. Vlastelica just bundling him off it in the end. Looks like we might have had a bit of a late change to the original starting lineup. It's Michael Paragalli who's playing at right back. Yanni Nassis looks like he may have been a late withdrawal from the starting 11. Here is Paragalli. Now Jordan Small striding forwards. Good strength from the youngster as well. Here's Busek. A lot of excitement around him this season. Jordan Small again. And Busek looks to chop back inside. Well defended, though. We'll have a corner for his efforts, Will Busek. Landed at the Mariners in 2023. Did the Canberra product. Canberra, Croatia was where he played or made his senior NPL debut. Just 19 years old. Scored 10 goals in the under-20s last season. Corner from Skikluna. Headed clear as far as Headley. Now Deng. Back out to Lucas Skikluna, I should say. My apologies. Deng. Headed downwards, but the ball was on top of him before he knew it. He couldn't really crank the neck muscles enough to really get any meaningful sort of contact or power behind it. Easily claimed by Kalach. Will be an ongoing threat from set pieces, though, Will Sherdang. 18-year-old coming across from the Queensland NPL system, where he spent some time at Brisbane Roar Academy, as well as Lions FC. It's taken off the toe of Jordan Small. Mariners appealing for the free kick. Referee Kovic says nothing doing. And then Sydney United want one for the contact on Milicevic. Again, nothing doing. Just a good old school footballing challenge. Now the Mariners look to get forwards. Skikluna playing one into a wide area. Beating 1, 2 and 3. Shot was straight at Oliver Kalach. Comfortable claim in the end. Again, bright start, or bright signs, I should say, from the young Mariners. Tay Headley, that was, bursting through. Forward it comes in the direction of Matthew Hatch once again. Paragalli staying touch tight. It's a good challenge as well. It might just pop out here for De Oliveira. In a tussle with Lucas Skikluna there. Free kick going the way of the hosts. They'll look to play their way through this press. Shodeng. Now Smith again. Well, the ball, I'm not sure if it was intended for Busek or Paragalli there. It's sort of gone halfway between them, and it's easy for Ivancic to pick up on. Lucas Smythe, well, he's never one to shirk his defensive duties there. Defending on the halfway line again for the Mariners. Sydney United, well, they won't have it back. They've thrown away possession. Skikluna now. Headley, first time ball for Small. Nyonkuru. Building nicely this from the Mariners. Oh, the curse of the commentator perhaps striking once again there. Sydney United now look to launch a foray forward with Nakamura. Small tracking back once again. Mariners defending in numbers. Two banks behind the ball, proving difficult to break down. Ivancic and Hatch. Still Hatch. Really fizzed in at the feet of Patrick Antelmi there. Difficult one to control, but they'll have it back. Well, Sydney United, Vlastelica striding forward from centre-back. Leon Kuru's had just about enough of that. Puts a bit of snow on it, and over the halfway line and into touch it will go. Few words of perhaps frustration there from some of the Sydney United contingent. So their fans on the far touchline there, they do tend to travel in decent numbers. Here's Nakamura. He's dragged back by Menem. Referee played the advantage across the face. It will go, cleared by Smith. He's putting in a good shift for this opening 15 minutes or so at centre half is Rocco Smith. Ivancic. Of course, Jordan Ivancic, the 7 for Sydney United, returning to the club after a season at the Bulls FC Academy, returning with Zelko Kalach, who is very well aware of him. Of course, Kalach having been the head coach at the Bulls FC Academy last season, bringing Ivancic back with him. Nakamura pressing once again. Mariners able to play their way through it. So Tay Headley's just run into trouble though. Here's Hatch. First time across the face. And Telmi and Nakamura both arriving late. It was just a little bit too far ahead of both of them. Wicked ball across the face there from Matthew Hatch. Would have been a short commute for him to get to the ground this afternoon. Vlastelica reads the bouncing ball. It's a bit of a nothing ball forward though. Shodeng easily able to intercept. Small. Nyonkuru now. No way through. Back to Wachorski and now Rocco Smith. Tight tussles, of course, last time these sides met in the New South Wales NPL men's competition. Finished 2-1 in favour of the host last time they met at Plume Park, and the reverse fixture at Sydney United Sports Centre, finishing 2-1 in favour of Sydney United 58. That one, a drama-filled contest. Red cards, last-minute goals. Big switch of play there from Skikluna. Meneman off 4A forward, linking up with Nyonkuru. Ball just ran away from Nyonkuru. As we said, the 17-year-old Nyonkuru coming in from Adelaide, Croatia, was recommended by a former Mariners Academy coach in Joshua Smith. Looks like an absolute live wire. Saw a bit of him throughout the course of pre-season. Matthew Hatch unable to keep that one in the field of play. I did say, of course, a super Saturday of football. 7 games to be played this evening. Match week 1 of the New South Wales NPL men's competition. So exciting to be back. Pleasure to have your company, of course, live on YouTube if you are tuning in. Here's Hatch, looking to use his pace to get in behind. He's matched very well indeed by Rocco Smith, who had to be on top of his game there. Any sort of mistake, and Matthew Hatch is in behind. And it's probably 1-0 Sydney United. As it stands, we remain deadlocked. Sydney United looking to change that. Ball coming across the face. Sure, Deng nearly playing into trouble there. The flag is up on the far touchline. It was Tariq Meyer who had received the return pass. He was certainly in an offside position, though. Of course, the NPL season returned with a bang last night down at Cromer Park. Manly United getting 3 goals and 3 points over St George. An early goal of the season contender, in my opinion. Shut it down, stop the count from Harry McCarthy. Certainly the pick of the bunch is Nyonkuru, though. Shifts onto his left. Pulls the trigger, but shot is blocked. It will go behind for another Mariners corner, though. Looked like it might have just opened up there for Nyonkuru. Not quite. What's the delivery like from the corner? Skikluna again. Hoisted deep towards Deng. Cleared in the end. Menem and Paragalli combining to win it back for the Mariners, and they'll have another chance to get forward here. Here is Paragalli into the area towards Lucas Smythe. Just prodded it towards Oliver Kalach's goal. Couldn't quite find the target, though. Was crowded out of it was Lucas Smythe, but that's just about as close as the Mariners have come so far. Did well to get the shot away. In any case, did Lucas Smythe. Still looking for his first goal for the Mariners is Lucas Smythe. Certainly just about the closest he's come there. Wachorski. To switch it out in the direction of Harry Menem. It's another one with big raps on him is Harry Menem. The 18-year-old making a step up to first grade football this season. Capable of operating at either left or right back. Here is the right back in Paragalli. Small. In behind for Tay Headley. First time ball across the face for Bursek. Just popped up. A little bit of an awkward height for Mate Bursek. Couldn't quite keep the shot down. And bright signs for the young Mariners though. Just about halfway through the first stanza of this one here at Plume Park. We are still deadlocked. As we said, plenty of action happening across New South Wales NPL men's competition this afternoon. Currently in progress down at Belmore, Sydney Olympic, playing host to newly promoted Hills United. I'll try and bring you an update on that one shortly, as this one again is hung up into the area towards Nyonkuru. Ivancic happy to watch that behind. At 7 o'clock, of course, at the Palace, Marconi will play host to Wollongong, as well as the Western Sydney Wanderers Academy at Wanderers Football Park, playing host to Sutherland. 7:15, St George City playing host to Rockdale in a massive clash there at Penshurst. 7:30, match of the round, Blacktown City playing host to Apia Leichhardt at Landon Stadium. Here's Shunta Nakamura twisting one way and the other, and not quite on the same wavelength as his teammates there. Another 7:30 game. Spirit FC playing host to Sydney FC Academy just down the road at Christie Park. The Arctic Circle, of course, Eric Sibiano. The coldest place on earth. Jordan Small. Wide it goes again. Flooding forward in numbers here, the Mariners. Flicked on by Nyonkuru. Paragalli stayed forward on the right. He'll have it back as well, will Paragalli. Small. Couldn't quite have escaped the attention of Patrick Antelmi, who dropped deep to defend. To great effect as well. Sydney United retained possession through Hatch. Little tug on the jersey there from Jordan Small. Matthew Hatch beats 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then he's bundled off it. Sydney United adamant there should have been a free kick there. Referee Kovic says nothing doing. Lucas Smythe knows he's offside. Flag goes up and eventually the whistle does go as well. This one maybe just starting to spark into life a little bit. Bailey Rule striding forward on the far side. It goes towards Antelmi. Absolute howls for a penalty from the Sydney United contingent. Referee Kovic says no, it's off the chest. And on we go. Of course, no VAR in the NPL system. As we just heard from a few in the crowd as well. Forward this goes in the direction of De Oliveira. Effectively marshalled there by Rocco Smith. Behind for nothing but a goal kick in the end. Matthew Hatch again looking to apply the press, just keeping Wachorski honest. Hatch is offside. Nakamura isn't. Brings it down out of the air there, Nakamura. Slide rule pass as well. Clipped back across the face towards Patrick Anselmi. And again, the Mariners able to clear their lines. Vlastelica stepping forward, getting there ahead of Lucas Smythe. Crucial part. Well, meanwhile, here's Nakamura. Across the face it goes. And tell me, not able to get on the end of it again. They've been so dangerous in wide areas today, have Sydney United. Nakamura and Matthew Hatch have been full of running, full of endeavour. So many dangerous balls whipped across the face so far, but yet to make it count where it really counts. Here's Menham. Good first touch to bring that out of the air. Loves to bomb forward from fullback, does Harry Menham. Here's Headley. Shots is blocked again. Small. Mariners with a chance to recycle. Menham hangs this one up towards Nyonkuru. It will be Paragalli who gets on the end of it. First time ball towards no one really though. Oof, that's a pretty agricultural sort of looking challenge. Kovic says nope, it's just a good old school footballing challenge, and perhaps a bit of a square up there as Lucas Skikluna, I should say, is just dumped to the deck himself. He, of course, who made that initial challenge on Patrick Anselmi. Ivica Kovic pulling rank. It's De Oliveira who dumped Skikluna to the deck, I should say. It will be the Mariners' number 8. The chance to whip something into the area here. We'll go towards the back stick. Cherdeng is rising. Gets on the end of it as well. Does Cherdeng. Comfortable for Kalach though. Straight at the young goalkeeper. Cherdeng so quick in getting back as well. Gets there ahead of Nakamura. That's excellent defending. De Oliveira. And a tussle with Small. Free kick, or throw in, I should say, my apologies, going the way of Sydney United there. Vlastelica again showing off his impressive range of passing, and it's not a bad first touch either from Nakamura. Bailey rule now. De Oliveira just injected himself into the game a little bit more over these last 10 or so minutes. There's another big signing in the off-season. Carlos De Oliveira, the 23-year-old, coming in from Blacktown City. Here's Nakamura. Back across the face for De Oliveira! It is! That man there! Sydney United's number 10, Carlos De Oliveira. He just said he was one of their statement signings in the off-season. And he's marked his Sydney United debut with a goal as well. 23-year-old Carlos de Oliveira maintaining his composure. He said how dangerous they've been in wide areas. And they've finally made that pressure count where it matters most on the scoreboard. It is Sydney United 58-1. The Central Coast Mariners 0. Just over half an hour or so into this one here at Bloom Park. Well, what sort of response can Lucas Villela get out of the Mariners here? Again, a big switch of play out in the direction of Harry Menem. Sydney United with their tails up. Zhang really fizzing that one in. Back at the feet of Jack Wachowski. Wachowski sorted his feet out with plenty of time. Here's Menem. Chodeng, and now Small. Mariners winning it back in the middle of the park, but forced all the way back once again to their custodian, Wachowski. Awkward looking sort of bounce there for Liam McGing. Gets away with it though. Here's Nakamura looking to release Matthew Hatch. He does get through indeed. Matthew Hatch for two. It's a fantastic save from Jack Wachowski. It was perhaps on Hatch's unfavoured right side. Very left-footed player is Matthew Hatch. Managed to get in behind Paragalli though. That's the danger that Matthew Hatch does present. Can't afford to switch off for a moment against a player with that sort of pace. Big switch of play. Harry Menem unable to control, much to the delight of those Sydney United fans on the far side. It seems we're missing a game ball as well. Oh, we're back. Here's Milicevic. Another one who spent a couple of years here on the coast with the Mariners Academy. Signing for Sydney United this year. Over the top it goes. Paragalli's got a bit of a puzzle to figure out, and he does well. Just hooking that one over his shoulder and out into touch. Football New South Wales photographer James Walker nearly getting a touch on the game ball there as well. We've got some numbers on this near touchline here, Sydney United. De Oliveira and Hatch wanted it to come out to the left, and it will in the end as well. Hatch one-on-one with Paragalli. Great first touch from Matthew Hatch. And again, across the face it goes. Two or three of those in red shirts arriving late. Once again, Nakamura and Dantelmi unable to get on the end of it. De Oliveira incredibly frustrated that neither of his teammates were able to apply the finish. Again, an absolutely wicked teasing ball from Matthew Hatch. After a fairly even opening half an hour or so of this one here at Plume, suddenly it's all Sydney United. Here's Paragalli. First time ball finding Nyonkuru. And now Tay Headley. He's been very lively this afternoon indeed. What can he produce there? Well, just on a completely different wavelength to his teammate there is Tay Headley. Returning from injury this season. Another one who has very big raps on him indeed. This time, Vlastelica again looking to try and get one in behind over the top there for Matt Hatch. It just hung in the air for an age and just too much on it in the end. Oh, it's a bit of a loose pass from Jordan Small and easy for De Oliveira. Looks to slide one in behind for Antelmi! It looked like it was going to take a bit of pace off the inside of the post and nestle into that far corner. It rocketed back off the frame of the goal. Nakamura, with the goal at his mercy, turning that one over the top in the end, and the Mariners' goal leading somewhat a charmed life at the moment. Jordan Small breathing a sigh of relief. It's his pass that turned the ball over to De Oliveira. Mariners just may need to try and regain their composure as it goes long for Lucas Smythe. Looking to get in behind Liam McGing. Hangs it up towards the centre of the box. It might just fall kindly for Nyonkuru. It's a bit behind him though. Nyonkuru, first time strike from Busek. Half-hearted appeals for handball, but shot is blocked. That's excellent defending from Sherdang, halting the advance of the dangerous Nakamura. Nyonkuru taken off his toe by his opposite number 11, though, in Matthew Hatch. He'll have it back, Nyonkuru, and skips past the sliding challenge as well, and all of a sudden it's green grass in front. Across the face of goal it goes. Kalach scrambling, may have just got a touch on it. Mariners now looking to work their way back into this one with 5 or so minutes to go until half-time here at Plume. Fascinating contest between these two. Here is Matthew Hatch. Wants to get at his defender. Instead uses De Oliveira and now Meyer. Wide it goes for McGing. Even wider it will go for Rule. It's a good-looking slide rule ball. Hung up. Comfortably dealt with by Paragalli. Only half cleared though. Defending in numbers once again. Tay Headley not shirking his defensive duties. Lucas Smythe couldn't quite ride the challenge, but it will fall kindly for Jordan Small. There's a player down in back play as a result of the challenge. Referee Kovic happy to play on. Across the face it goes for Nyonkuru! Donatien Nyonkuru on debut for the Mariners. A 17-year-old picked out the top corner with expert precision. Levels proceedings here at Plume. We're one apiece. That's an extremely composed finish from the 17-year-olds. Those in yellow and navy, I think, can probably see why Josh Smith recommended him from Adelaide, Croatia. He looks to be a precocious talent, does this young man. And he has a goal on debut. Sydney United looking to counterpunch immediately through Hatch. De Oliveira is taken off his toe by Rocco Smith, though. He's been good at centre-back today, has Smith, alongside Sherdang. Big shoes to fill, of course, with the departure of Cam Windust, who's headed off to Marconi. Dean Larson also departing the club in the off-season. Nathan Paul, who played a handful of games in the NPL, of course, is playing mostly with the A-League side now. Sure, Dang just nearly turning into trouble there as he was surrounded by a couple of red shirts. Foul conceded on the far touchline, much to the chagrin of Zelko Kalach and the Sydney United faithful. Bailey Rule just a little over-eager going through the back of his opposing number. Vicikovic just on the far touchline. He has a couple of matters to sort out. We will eventually get back underway. Sherdeng seemingly in no real sort of hurry to take this one. I was waiting for the whistle, of course. He was on the bench for the Mariners senior side, of course, the other night was Sherdeng in their AFC Cup zonal semi-final against Phnom Penh Crown FC. Oh, he's misread that one, though. Nakamura in behind. Sherdeng with the challenge. And they are absolutely adamant that Sherdeng went through the back of Nakamura there. Zelko Kalach is absolutely apoplectic on that far touchline at the moment. Well, you might be able to hear what Oliver Kalach thinks about that one as well. I do apologise if any of that language managed to filter through. And Vicikovic has a couple of things to sort out here. Zelko Kalach, I think it is, has been summoned to the headmaster's office. Yellow card is forthcoming. Well, never short of decisions to be made, controversial as they may seem. It did look like Sherdeng got the ball. Did he go through the back of his player on the way through there? That's the question. Mariners happy to get on with it anyway. We'll have a free kick in any case as we tick towards the final seconds of the first 45. As we await the fourth official's determination as to how much time we may see added on. Well, just the regulation 2 minutes at the end of this half, it looks like. This one comes in towards the back post and, well, eventually they do have their penalty, Sydney United. It was a high foot raised at the back stick. From Mate Biusek, he doesn't agree, but he doesn't have to. He seems to be indicating that the Sydney United player, who is still prone on the turf, mind you, leant into it. It did look like the boot was raised, though, from Biusek. And Sydney United with a gilt-edged chance to go 2-1 up right on the stroke of half-time. The Mariners fans don't seem to agree with it. They don't have to, though. From here, it probably looked like the right decision. Just as the Mariners were working their way back into this one, would be a cruel blow for their efforts, but Sydney United it will be with the chance to go ahead. It'll be Patrick Antelmi to take it eventually when we do get back underway. Antelmi, the 29-year-old, of course. Plenty of experience overseas with Portsmouth and Wolves and Leeds and Wigan in his junior days. Been at the club since 2018. Broken up with a quick spell at Western United in 2020. 19 goals across all competitions last season for Patrick Antelmi. This is a chance for his first of the 2024 campaign. So Antelmi v. Wachorski, experience against youth. Right on the stroke of half-time. This could be the last kick of the half. Patrick Antelmi, call as you like. Absolutely ice cold from the spots is Patrick Antelmi. There's never really in any sort of doubt there. And Sydney United do take a 2-1 lead. And surely take into half-time as well. We might just have just about enough time for the restart. Probably say not much more though. We are through that additional 2 minutes and more. Of course, that penalty being awarded just a few seconds into added time, so we might see another minute or so added on. Smith looking for the crossfield pass. It's blocked off though by Antelmi. It will pop back out for Skikluna and now Menem. This perhaps the last roll of the dice in the first half for the Mariners. Menem hangs it up centrally towards Smythe. It's headed clear by McGing. And that will be that for the first stanza of this one. Here at Plume Park, a thoroughly entertaining contest. It's been punch and counter punch for the first 45. Sydney United scoring right at the death. And they will take a 2-1 lead into the sheds at halftime here at Plume Park. Join us for the second stanza in about 15 minutes' time. Yes, welcome back to Plume Park here on the Central Coast for match week 1, round 1 action. The NPL New South Wales men competition returns. It is a Super Saturday of football. And it is Sydney United who hold the most slender of advantages over the Central Coast Mariners here. After 45 minutes of action, Carlos de Oliveira scoring the game's opening goal. They were pegged back by the Mariners' number 11, Donatien Nyonkuru. Right at the death of the first 45, we went to the spot. Patrick Antelmi, absolutely ice cold. And that's how the first 45 played out. Still 45 minutes of action to get through here at Plume Park, and I'm sure a few more twists in the tail to come. Pete Pryor with you on the call this afternoon. An absolute pleasure to have your company as NPL football returns. Away we go for the second half. Sydney United getting us underway, kicking from left to right on your screens, and an early free kick for the Travellers as well. Probably fair to say on the balance of things, Sydney United, good value for their lead so far. Doesn't look like any changes at half-time for either side. We'll bring you confirmation on that one shortly. Hoisted in towards the back stick. Vlastelica was arriving late. Sherdang, who's had a good shift out there so far at centre half, getting there ahead of the Sydney United captain Vlastelica. At the expense of a corner though. Matthew Hatch, as we said, former Mariners Academy junior, spent the best part of a decade or so at the club. Across to take. Scored 2 goals in what was then known the NPL 2 Grand Final back in 2020 in the Mariners' double winning season. Looks to swing one in with that trusty left boot here. Clipped in towards the near post. Absolute chaos of bodies rising. The first one to it was Lucas Smythe. This flicks off his head though, and behind for another corner on the opposite side. Tarek Meyer across to take this one. There'll be another in-swinging delivery from Meyer. Very congested in that 6-yard area. Chaos in the box. What's the delivery like though? It's deep towards Nakamura. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty, led by the Sydney United custodian Oliver Kalach. He was the furthest away from it. They do lead by virtue of that late penalty dispatched by Patrick Antelmi for his first of the season. First of, I'm sure, many to come for Patrick Antelmi. He may need to shoulder some additional burden this year as, again, Wachorski under very heavy pressure. Here's Nakamura now. One-on-one with Menem. Menem not diving in there, doing well indeed, the young fullback. Zayden Milicevic forcing the issue and forcing a corner. As we said, Patrick Antelmi doesn't have the likes of another former Mariners product in Chris Payne to help shoulder some of that responsibility in terms of goal scoring. He does, of course, have Carlos de Oliveira, Matthew Hatch onto Nakamura, so I'm sure there's plenty willing to chip in there. Tarek Meyer again, delivered near post. Cleared straight back out to Meyer. He looks to try and break free of the challenge of Tay Headley. Just a throw in at the end of it. Bailey Rule is wanting a little more movement than what is currently being presented. Cleared by Menem. Miscue from Nyonkuru. Falls kindly for Ivancic. Few agricultural looking challenges out there. In the end, referee Kovic just waiting to see how it would all play out. Free kick for the home side at the end of it. Wachowski clipping one out to this near touch line. Here's Menem. Milicevic doesn't want to let him advance. Forced all the way back to Wachowski once again. And it's Nakamura keeping him honest. Here's Smith trying to play through the press. Only playing his way into trouble though. Cannons off the legs of Antelmi. Hatch's cross. Headed clear once again by Deng. Nyonkuru. Tough challenge in the middle of the park there. Milicevic and Skikluna competing for it. Falls kindly for Sydney United and Nakamura. Again, Deng showing composure beyond his years. And again, the Mariners playing out now with Smythe. That's a good first-time ball for Headley. Looks to just open up the pitch there. It was a little bit behind Paraguli. Paraguli unable to keep it in. The move just breaks down. As we said, 2-1 on the last two occasions these sides have met. Last time at Plume Park it was 2-1 in favour of the hosts. But as it stands at the moment, it's Sydney United who do hold that 2-1 advantage here. As they did the last time these sides met at Sydney United Sports Centre. It's a last-minute goal to Alessandro Lacalandra last time these sides met. Not in the squad today. Not short of firepower on the bench though. Marko Arambasic, another one who had some time here on the coast. And another one who's joined up with Sydney United after spending some time under Zelko Kalac at the Bulls FC Academy last season. Wachowski hoisting this one upfield. A bit of a tussle between Lucas Smythe and Adrian Vlastelica, drawing the free kick, and then the follow-through from Smythe on Liam McGing, sending the Sydney United number 14 sprawling to the deck and earning Lucas Smythe an entry into Ivicicovic's notebook. Kalac eager to get things on the move. Well, I'm not sure if that counts as a shot on target, perhaps. Been taking notes from Harry McCarthy's notebook. Jordan Small managing to twist his way out of trouble. And forward come the Mariners. Well, the flag half went up. Here's Nyonkuru. Twisting and turning, trying to evade the attention of Meyer. And now Ivancic. Back it goes. Paraguli. Sydney United able to clear their lines all the way back to Wachowski. Oh, how's the touch from Busek to pull that one out of the air? Looks like he's got the ball on a string at times. Here's Headley. Such an exciting prospect the Mariners' number 7. Very keen to see what he can do in the senior setup this season. Another very exciting prospect there, number 8, Skikluna. Came across from the Wolverhampton Wanderers Academy. Here he is again. Still carrying it forward, Skikluna! Stinging the palms of Oliver Kalach. Needed 2 bites to get it under control there, did Kalach. Snapshot from Skikluna. Very little backlift. Very close to levelling proceedings. Also had time at Aston Villa's academy, did Lucas Skikluna. Mind you, he was only 7 years old at the time. Back in Australia and looking to forge a career here on the coast. Older brother at the Wanderers as well, has already had some time in the A-League. Headley trying to twist and turn and evade the challenge of a couple of Sydney United players, one of who was Matt Hatch. Pops back out. Well, it pops out very kindly for Shunta Nakamura, 1-on-1 with Deng. One arriving late at the top of the box was De Oliveira. He's already got one for the afternoon. Shot is blocked and pops out very kindly for Tay Headley. Just forcing the pass somewhat there, Headley. But Vlastalista being kept very honest indeed by Nyonkuru, forced into touch. Again, it's that press of Sydney United. The speedster in Hatch. The flick on from Busek, looking for Smythe. And now it's his turn to try and keep Kalach honest. Cool as you like, though, with his feet there, Oliver Kalach. Here's Headley. Just looking to play one into the channel there for Lucas Smythe. Well blocked off. Passing lane was blocked off, I should say, by Tarek Meyer. Vlastalista again looking for that raking crossfield ball to get Matthew Hatch in behind. Couldn't quite bring it under his spell though, Hatch. Towering header from Vlastalista over the top. Well, that's a bit of a mismatch in the air, I feel. The Mariners able to break free. Here's Nyonkuru. Looks to isolate Ivancic. Clip back towards Lucas Smythe at the back post. Maybe just on his heels a little bit there, Smythe, but he's able to keep it in the field of play. 1-on-1 with McGing. Pass is just a little too far ahead of Skikluna and a little too far ahead of Jordan Small, though. Patrick Antelmi unhappy with the challenge from Jordan Small. Referee says nothing doing. It's a physical battle there between Harry Menem and Bailey Rule. Rule down on his haunches for the time being. Looks like it might have just taken a bit of the wind out of him. He's back up and about now. He's fine. Here's Nakamura. Again, drifting into that wide area. Awaiting the supporting cast in Rule. Well, they'll just recycle it back across halfway, will Sydney United. Vlastalista. Forward it goes in towards Antelmi. Looks to go around Wachowski, and that's fantastic goalkeeping from the 19-year-old. Sprawling out across the ground there to pluck that one off the toe of Patrick Antelmi when it looked like he might just have his second for the afternoon. Expertly done from Jack Wachowski. Of course, he's had a taste of senior football with the Mariners as well, playing in their 6-3 home victory over Bali United in the AFC Cup. Meanwhile, here's Nyonkuru. looking to twist and turn and fashion an opening. Nearly did, but for the timely intervention, once again, of Tarek Meyer. Skikluna, first time ball forwards, only finding Hatch. Layoff from Meyer as well as too far ahead of Matt Hatch. Who, well, that's maybe just a bit of a frustrated challenge there from Matthew Hatch, and he will go into the referee's notebook indeed. Very late coming through there was Hatch. It looked a pretty painful one as well. A bit of a clash of knees there with the Mariners centre back, Rocco Smith. Rocco Smith, another one who's on debut for this Mariners senior side, or first grade NPL side, I should say, today. Former Hakoa Junior has acquitted himself quite well at centre back. Average age of only about 19 years old, though, across this Mariners first grade squad. It is, as I said earlier, one of the youngest Mariners academy sides. I know they're generally young sides with the under-23 rule implemented and in force, but this is certainly the youngest one I've seen. We're over the hour mark here at Plume Park. Still it is Sydney United who hold that solitary goal advantage over the hosts. Half an hour to go, and I'm sure another couple of chapters to be written in this one. Here's Menem. Cherdeng just trying to clip one over the top. It will fall in the end for Skikluna and then Busek. Menem not quite measuring the pass, though. Straight over the touchline. Trying to play one down in that wide channel for Lucas Smythe. Both coaches, I'm sure, thinking about a change or two as we tick over the hour mark. Meanwhile, here's Nakamura. Well, it's Menem who gets there ahead of Nakamura. Couldn't quite reel that one in, though. And over the touchline it goes again. Here's Bailey Rule measuring the cross towards the back post where Hatch is lurking. Ugh. First time on the volley was a difficult one coming out of the sky like that. He's capable of the spectacular, though, is Matthew Hatch. Scored a pretty special goal on the half volley for the Central Coast Mariners in one of their Australia Cup campaigns against Apia Leichhardt. On an impossible angle, a goal that went viral around the world. Meanwhile, here come the Mariners with Busek. He's just about managed to keep that one in play. Well, no, he's just run out of room, just run out of real estate there. There's the ball over the top from Headley. Flick on from Anselmi, looking for De Oliveira. Smith, well, it's good to see him moving freely after the challenge. And now's the feed from the goalkeeper there, Jack Wachorski. A sliding challenge from Anselmi, and Wachorski, a little chop back onto his opposite foot. Mariners are finding the going tough, though, going forwards. Sydney United's back four have remained extremely resolute so far in this second stanza. Can't quite stick the final pass. Meanwhile, it's a big Switch of play to find Nakamura. Oh, wonderful feat from Aiden Milicevic as well. Plays one square. Decent looking first touch from De Oliveira. Trying to play one over the top for Aiden Milicevic, but just a little bit too much on it from De Oliveira. Extremely exciting attacking front three for Sydney United. Meanwhile, it's the Mariners who look to get free on the far touchline with Nyonkuru. As we said, of course, the signing of Matt Hatch and Shunta Nakamura in the off-season, complemented by the likes of Carlos De Oliveira and Aiden Milicevic. Plenty of reasons to get excited about Sydney United this season as they look to improve on what was, I think it's fair to say, a fairly disappointing 10th place finish in the 2023 season. We're going to see a couple of changes shortly for the hosts. Lucas Villela handing out some final instructions. Of course, finals at stake this season as well in 2024. Same format as the A-Leagues as well. Top six will go through. First and second get a week off. Third will play sixth. Fourth will play fifth in the elimination finals. Before first and second will rejoin. Bring you confirmation of these changes in just a moment. Looks like it's Nyonkuru who's come off on that far touchline. It is indeed. Sparkling debut from Nyonkuru, capped off by a goal as well, the equaliser in the first half. Brought it back to one apiece. Looks like he may have just succumbed to injury there. He's very gingerly making his way back towards the bench on the far side. He's been replaced by Adil Tosca, the number 18. Number 18, also 18 years old. First change of the afternoon through some 67 or so minutes here at Plume Park. I'm sure Zelko Kalach will be thinking about his next move as well. When will he go to the bench to perhaps sneak a third, or do they look to manage it out? Meanwhile, here's Tay Headley. Tay Headley! Oh, that's not far away at all from the Mariners' number 27. That would have been spectacular from Tay Headley. He shrugged off the challenge of 2 or 3 red shirts before pulling the trigger. Certainly had Oliver Kalach quite interested. He looked confident that he had his angles correct in any case. Well, that's about as close as the Mariners have come in this second stanza. It's been very lively on his return from serious knee injury there, Tay Headley. Oliver Kalach expressing his disappointment, perhaps. maybe didn't get the connection he wanted on the goal kick. Sydney United retained possession on halfway though. Here's Bailey Rule, McGing and Vlastelica. Again, looking to play one wide for Hatch. De Oliveira looking to link up once again with Hatch. It's a very good sliding challenge, well timed at the expense of a corner. Vlastelica so often showing off that impressive range of passing. He's another one who actually spent some time here on the coast in the Mariners Academy many, many years ago. He's been a mainstay of that Sydney United defence since 2018. He's forward here as well, making his presence known in the area. In comes the corner, near post delivery, headed clear as far as Milicevic. Didn't quite strike it cleanly though. Wouldn't he love a goal on his return to Plume Park? Aiden Milicevic. Here's Wachorski. Again, another aerial duel between Harry Menem and Bailey Rule. Rule wins it in the air, but over the touchline it goes. Mariners throw. Sure, Dang. The pass looked a little loose, but it knew what he was doing there. Dang, Small and Smith combining. Skikluna. Couldn't quite stick the pass in the end. Tay Headley still buzzing around there. Between the lines, making his presence known. Keeping the Sydney United defenders honest. Will be a free kick in the end against Harry Menem. Just going through the back of Shunta Nakamura. Keen to get on with it too. Here's Nakamura. Cross straight into the legs though of Menem. Remain touch tight to the Japanese flyer all the way through. Shunta Nakamura, of course, represented Japan throughout under 15s, 16s, 17s, 18s, all the way through to 19s. Such a live wire in that front third. Very impressive signing coming across from Mount Druitt Town Rangers. What's the delivery like here from Meyer? Out swinging corner towards the back post. A few rising in the area. Here's De Oliveira. We'll just recycle it with Meyer. Hung up centrally. Wachorski gets a strong enough fist to it. Just pushing it away. And now the Mariners will come forward through Headley. Timely intervention from Vlastelica though, tracking back. Halting their advance. Allows his teammates to get back in their shape. Long it goes again in the direction of Smythe. Vlastelica rising highest. Pass is just a little too far ahead of Matthew Hatch. He's quick, but he's not that quick. Vlastelica putting his foot through that. Nakamura heading it on, but there's no one ahead of him. He was the furthest forwards. Smith again clipping one forward, and again it's Vlastelica first on scene. Wachorski's had to come a long way out of his area to get on the end of that, playing sweeper keeper. Hatch keeping Deng and Wachorski very honest. Mariners, cool as you like, playing their way out. Ice cold, here's Menem. Clipped over the top. was Tosca looking to get in behind there. Kalach saw it all the way, but here is Adil Tosca. Bit of a tussle there with De Oliveira. Sydney United will win the throw on that far touchline. As we slowly tick into the final 15 or so minutes of this one here at Plume Park. Sydney United still with that 2-1 advantage over the Mariners. Try and bring you some news from the other game that's happening at the moment as well at Belmore. Sydney Olympic playing host to Hills United. I did see, if you don't want spoilers, block your ears now. I did see at half-time that perhaps a bit of a shock. Hills United leading by 1-0. Newly promoted, of course, Hills United. Premiers of the Football New South Wales League 1 men's competition. Against a very heavily fancied opponent there, I think it's fair to say, in Sydney United, Sydney Olympic, I should say, my apologies. Meanwhile, back to live action here, Skakluna. Ivancic saw it all away. And Hatch finishing the job. Here's De Oliveira. Vlastelica. Oh, cool as you like, playing their way out, Sydney United. And De Oliveira shirks off the challenge of a couple and still strides forward. Here comes De Oliveira. Well, it would have been some goal. He shrugged off 2 or 3 challenges. It looked like he may have been dragged back at one point in time. Ivica smartly playing advantage. De Oliveira got the shot away. Meanwhile, that's a great first-time ball here for Lucas Smythe. Oh, the flag's gone up on the far side. It was right in line with our broadcast position here. Eagle-eyed linesman on the far touchline was very quick to put the flag up. And it was tight. It was a wonderful-looking ball from Tay Headley. And perhaps the giveaway may have been Lucas Smythe. Not exactly the quickest player. Meanwhile, Sydney United going right up the other end and earning themselves a corner. In comes the corner once again from Matthew Hatch. Delivery hasn't been his best so far today. Bailey Rule. Well, looks like he may have been in 2 minds there, whether he wanted to clear it or pick out a teammate in the form of Nakamura. In the end, straight into touch. Mariners nearly throwing possession away. Able to retain, though, and here's Sherdang. They've turned it over in the middle of the park again, have the Mariners. Here's Nakamura. Forced wide. Good delivery! Finding the head of Matthew Hatch. Again, he couldn't quite crank the neck muscles enough to get the power behind it that he may have hoped. Wachowski able to get there at the second attempt. We can bring you an update from Belmore as we just see how this plays out. It's Busek one-on-one with Bailey Rule. We will bring you that update from Belmore right now. It is as it was at half-time. Hills United 1, Sydney Olympic 0. Hills United have just had a player sent off as well. You don't want to take your eyes off this one here, though, at Plume Park, as the Mariners look to make a couple of changes. That will indeed be Mate Busek's last involvement of the game, being replaced by the number 35 in Agyeg Aluk. The other change, Lucas Smythe will take his leave for the afternoon. Perhaps just preservation there, as he is on a yellow card as well as Lucas Smythe. Bring you confirmation of his replacements very shortly. A raking crossfield ball. A lot of backspin on it there from Rocco Smith. Looked like it might have just got away from Harry Medham there, but he reeled it back in. And here's Lucas Skakluna. Jordan Small. In behind it goes. There's 2 or 3 in yellow shirts waiting for it, one of whom was Aluk, and it'll come in towards Aluk again. Headed clear. Skakluna. It's a bit of a loose pass, though, ahead of Medham, who goes flying into that challenge there. Ivica has a bit of a job to figure this one out, and it's absolute chaos in the middle of the park here. It's all going on here at Plume Park. Harry Medham went flying into that one. Ivica has the red card out of his pocket already. And the red card is flashed in the direction of Rocco Smith. Now, it looks like he copped a couple of punches in the head himself. Ivica has a job on his hands to figure this one out here. It was sparked by the challenge on Nakamura by Harry Medham. Well, both sets of fans here at Plume Park have plenty to say as well. The red card indeed does come out for the goal scorer, Patrick Antelmi. Well, that certainly opens things up for the final 10 minutes or so. The red card's still out in the hand of the referee. Job's not done just yet. Good luck unpacking all of this one. Patrick Antelmi receiving a very warm reception from those Sydney United 58 fans on the far touchline. Harry Medham has stayed down. The red card has stayed out. I wonder if it may just be brandished in his direction when he does get back to his feet. Well, the red card's gone away for the time being anyway. Well, we could have a grandstand finish on our hands while the red card's back out again. So I think we are going to see it. It's probably hard to argue with that. Harry Medham did go flying into the challenge. Indeed, he will see red. A few sarcastic cheers from both sets of fans. The Sydney United fans certainly the happier of the two sets of fans with that outcome. So red cards to Rocco Smith and Harry Medham. Harry Medham for the initial challenge. Rocco Smith for his part in the ensuing fracas. As well as Patrick Antelmi receiving his marching orders. Sydney United now with the goal advantage and the advantage in personnel on the pitch. Will be 9 playing 10 for the final few minutes of this one. A couple of changes as well in the midst of all the chaos for Sydney United. Aidan Milicevic is taking his leave. Well, it's a lonely walk back to the sheds for Smith and Harry Medham, who have to make their way past the Sydney United fans as well, making their feelings very well known on that far touchline. The Central Coast Mariners now with a mountain to climb for the final few minutes of this one. Wide it goes towards, look. Was the foot raised? Referee says yes. In the midst of all the chaos, as we said, a couple of changes. Aiden Milicevic has taken his leave. Anthony Tomilich is on in the centre of the park. Stephen de Robillard has come on up top as well. Filling the void vacated by the departure of Patrick Antelmi. After his red card, I'm not too sure who else came off. We'll bring you confirmation of that in just a moment. That was absolute chaos in the middle of the park just moments ago. Here is Tomilich. McGing. Vlastitzer as they look to just work it from side to side and search for an opening. They do have the men advantage now. Nakamura centrally for de Robillard. It's just a miscued clearance that falls at the feet of Nakamura. Meyer works it wide for Bakadanakoski. There's another one who's come on for Sydney United. Another recent signing from the Sydney FC Academy for Sydney United, Dejan Bakadanakoski. Well, they'll just look to maintain possession here, Sydney United. They work it wide to Nakamura. Bailey Rule, who's come forward again. Tomilich. Just playing keep ball against the Mariners now. Mariners seemingly chasing shadows out there. Here is Nakamura. Tomilich. Oliver Kalach urging his teammates forward, wanting an increase in the ball speed. Wants him to move it quickly. Here's Bailey Rule. Back to Tomilich, under a bit of pressure as well from the Mariners, number 13. It's Yanni Nassis, of course, the Mariners, number 13, who's come on up top. Another recent acquisition for the academy sides, Melbourne-born. Spent some time in the academy at Western United down in the NPL Victoria setup. Another one who's come on at the back there, the number 33 in Alex Guntunis. Jordan Small just a little over-eager in his attempts to get possession back for his side. Going through the back of his opponents, giving away the free kick and a chance for Sydney United to just eat up a few more valuable seconds here as they look to manage this one out. Oliver Kalach in absolutely no hurry to get things back underway. Matt Hatch happy to watch that one into touch. It will be a Sydney United throw on that far touch line. Well, no goals in this second stanza here at Bloom Park, but no shortage of entertainment. Of course, as we said, plenty more NPL New South Wales men's action to come. That looked like a handball by Cherdeng, but it won't matter. Here comes a 22 in de Robillard. Oh, Stephen de Robillard just mixing up his feet there. Here's another one who came across from the Bulls Academy. Another one that Zelko Kalach will know quite well. Mariners just forced to go long in the direction of Nassus. Here's Tosca. Another tussle with Bailey Rule. Tosca looks to go around the outside of Rule. In towards Nassus. Cleared, or played their way out to Nakamura. Jordan Small not giving him an inch. In the end, able to find Tomalich, and it's a decent-looking slide rule pull in behind for de Robillard. Cherdeng saw it all the way. Jack Wachorski earning some ironic cheers from those Sydney United fans over the other side. Through the regulation 90 minutes here, the board goes up. We'll see 6 minutes of time added on. Is there time for the Mariners to work their way back into this one? As we said, they've got a mountain to climb, a goal behind, a player down. Bailey Rule trying to slalom his way through. The home fans feel he may have gone down a little bit easily under the challenge there. Here's Nakamura. Still Nakamura, riding the challenge. And just recycling now with Tomalich and McGing. Maya, Vlastalica. Again, Sydney United. Just moving the Mariners around, just playing keep ball with Bailey Rule. No options forward, so back with Tomalich it will go. That's all they have to do here, Sydney United. Just keep their foot on the ball, keep possession. Just play those high percentage passes. Oliver Kalach barking instructions at those in front of him. He can see everything that's happening, of course. In the best vantage point to play conductor. Here's Meyer. Tomalich. Rule again. No options in front, so back it goes. Working a little triangle here on this near touch line. Nakamura giving de Robillard something to chase, but all too far ahead of the Sydney United number 22. Behind it goes. Wachorski keen to get things back on the move. Guntunis just linking up with Cherdeng. Has a wide option here in the form of Tosca and uses him. Bailey Rule forcing Tosca all the way back to Wachorski. We'll look to switch the point of attack out to the right with Paragalli. Appeals for handball against Paragalli, headed by Ivica. Nearly halfway through that 6 minutes of additional time. Sydney United, well, in fact, it's not a free kick. It's just a throw-in on that far touchline. Cherdeng rising above de Robillard. Here's Hatch. Happy to watch it over the sideline and once again eat up a few more seconds. Bailey Rule. Vlastalica. It's a loose switch of play. Comfortable for Tosca, who maybe could have done a little bit better with it. They're not going to get very many opportunities to get their foot on the ball here, the Mariners. Here's Nakamura. Clipped in towards Matthew Hatch. Headed clear once again. And here come the Mariners. Slide rule ball in the direction of Nassus. Well marshalled once again by the Sydney United defence. Mariners will have it back though with Skikluna striding forward through the middle of the park. Has his heels clipped there by De Robillard. Just a free kick, nothing more. And Skikluna will take the resulting free kick, which he just won. Everyone forwards for the Mariners, bar Jack Wachorski. Perhaps one last roll of the dice here for the home side. Skikluna swung in towards the back post, headed down by Deng. The strike at the end of it, I think it was the substitute, Yanni Nassus. Took a couple of touches on the way through, which took all the sting out of it, and Kalach gratefully able to plunge on that one. Kalach looking wide for Nakamura. It's Gontunis rising ahead of Nakamura. Into touch. Into the final minute of that additional 6. Vlastelica. Hatch. Sydney United just need to play keep ball here. All the way back to Kalach. Switches it out to this right-hand touchline. It's a little bit too high for Nakamura. Not the tallest player on the pitch, Nakamura. Sherdeng, Wachorski under heavy pressure from De Robillard, and referee Ivica says indeed that will be that. No goals in the second half, but no shortage of entertainment. Sydney United, at the end of the day, have prevailed by 2-1 over the Central Coast Mariners in round 1 of New South Wales NPL men's action here in 2024. Was Carlos de Oliveira scoring on debut for his new side. We got things underway. A very impressive debut for him. Donatien Nyonkuru scored the equaliser for the Mariners shortly after with a top draw, top quarter finish. But right at the death of the first stanza, we went to the spot. Patrick Antelmi, ice cold, to open his account for the season. At the end of all the chaos, a couple of red cards amongst it as well. 2 for the Mariners in the form of Rocco Smith and Harry Medham, and 1 for Sydney United for the goal scorer Patrick Antelmi. So he had plenty of input throughout the course of the match, and it was the winning input as well indeed. For the Mariners, they look to regroup as they go again next week on the road. Sydney United will return home next week. But until next time, from all of us here at Football New South Wales and myself, Pete Pryor, it's been an absolute pleasure having your company this afternoon. Thanks all so much for tuning in. But from me, it's bye for now.